Hey you guys, so we are going to talk about Reborn Dolls. Well, what is a Reborn Doll? It's a lifelike, realistic looking doll. They're great for people who can't have a child, who've miscarried, um, stuff like that. People have had stillbirths. It's also great for depression, anxiety, Alzheimer's. I mean, you name it. It's any mental illness, it's pretty good for. So, forewarning, if you haven't already Googled what a reborn doll is, like I said, they're lifelike looking dolls, so a lot of people find them very creepy. And there are going to be some in this video. But first, I'm going to slowly walk you through it a little bit first, just to maybe lessen the creep a little bit. I'm going to show you a kit. I'm not just going to throw a full-blown reborn doll in your face unless I really want to scare you, yeah. I could, easily. So the kit is a 5-piece kit. It's a head. Then there's 2 limbs, or 2 arms and 2 legs. So here's the head. This is the Saskia kit. If you want to know what this baby would look like finished, you can go to Google, type in Saskia Reborn Doll, and there will be a ton of photos showing you. If you go to the images, there'll be a ton of photos showing you what the doll could look like completed. 2 arms. These are what are called full arms, meaning they have shoulders. The most common is 3/4, which means you just get kind of the arm, and then you get a body that's a 3/4 body, meaning it has cloth shoulders. Both of the dolls behind me have that. And then this doll is a full limb doll, meaning it has full legs, full arms. A lot of dolls are 3/4 arms, 3/4 legs, or 3/4 arms, full legs. The full body doll is becoming a little bit more common. Full arms, full legs becoming a little bit more common, but it wasn't so common way back when. There used to actually be 1/4 arms. I think there's still a couple of dolls that are made with 1/4, which means you pretty much just get the wrist. You pretty much get, like, maybe even that much. This is all gone. You get the hand. I know there's a kit out, or was a kit out, that I think had 1/4. It was just pretty much all fluff body, and you got the hands and the feet, and that was it. You didn't get any legs or arms or anything. You got the head, of course. So that's the kit. Before we start talking about kits and getting into that, let's talk about artists. Now, there are really low-end artists, which I call Walmart artists, and then in my price range personally, there are Dillard artists, which are higher-end, more expensive artists. And everything in between. So Target, Macy's, Nordstrom's, Dillard's. So basically, when I say Walmart, I don't mean Walmart prices literally. I just mean that they're cheaper. So they're $30 up to $199.99. So think about like an American Girl doll pricing. If you know anything about American Girl dolls, they can be pretty pricey. Their accessories can be pretty pricey, but they're not all that expensive compared to a reborn doll, unless you literally buy them everything. So then you go into like the Target area of pricing, which is like moderate pricing. It's still within a good price range, which is about $200 to $450. That's the price range you want to be in when you first start out in the reborn community. You definitely do not want that $30 to $199 reborn doll. Because you will definitely be disappointed. Well, I can't say you definitely will until you get one of the higher end reborn dolls, because you don't really know what you're getting. You know what I mean? Like, when you first start out in this community, you don't know what a good reborn doll looks like or feels like until you buy one. And then you're like, holy shit, what the fuck did I buy before this? Like, it really looks like a Walmart doll that you would get at Walmart. I purchased 3 reborn dolls from the very first. This is a very, very 100% common mistake. Purchased 3 reborn dolls from the very first reborn artist I looked up, found. Never looked on YouTube. I didn't even really think to look on YouTube until afterwards. I looked on Facebook first. I wouldn't suggest that. I'd go to YouTube. Type in Reborn Doll Artist if you want to find a good Reborn Doll artist. And you really get to watch them work and see what they've made. And you'll be able to compare and contrast works of art and pricing and all that kind of stuff. And their personalities, you get to know them a lot easier and all that kind of stuff too. So I purchased these dolls and thinking, oh my god, I mean, they're not like the greatest thing in the world, but they're handmade kind of thing. I thought that was really cool. And then I purchased, then I went on YouTube a couple months after purchasing these dolls, and I made a YouTube account, all that kind of stuff. It's all gone now. And I purchased a doll from, you can make a custom doll. That's a whole other story. Basically, you're going in to find an artist to make you a custom doll. I forgot to mention that. So you get to choose boy or girl, you get to choose the kit you want, yada yada. So I think I'd seen the Lulu kit. I'd seen this one artist version of a Lulu kit or something like that, and I really liked her work or whatever. And so I contacted her and was like, hey, can you make me this specific type of baby, which was a goth. I don't know. It was my like toe into, it was my foot in the door for the alternative dolls. Very big on horror, I am very big on horror and all that kind of stuff. So she was like, yeah, sure. I was like, I want the Lulu kit, blah, blah, blah. I want to be a goth baby, yada, yada. She did a great job on it. And, she was still new. And the second I got him, I knew what a reborn doll actually was. And those 3 dolls were not reborn dolls anymore. I was like, those things are shit. Those things should be on a store shelf. They're such crap. And basically what I learned is that these dolls take time. See, what happened with the first artist was she painted the dolls in 4 days with air dry paints. And they just were so badly painted. Like, I can't even begin to describe to you what they looked like. They looked like a doll from Walmart. They weren't rooted well. They were rooted with a very thick gauge, which meant they had a lot of hairs in their, where the hairs were inserted. I mean, if you don't know, you don't know, and it's very difficult to describe. They just didn't look good. And after getting this doll, I realized that, and I was like, oh crap, like, I now have a real standard of what I want, and I'm going to show you that doll. It's been 5 years, and he still looks, except for his hair, identical to when I got him. So this is Tristan. He's my goth baby. And his hair, this hair isn't even a year old yet. I got him re-rooted back in February because I didn't like, his hair was falling out. He had really thin strands of hair. They were micro-rooted, which is what it's called, micro-rooting. And that means there is 1 or 2 hairs per hole, like we have, per follicle. And his hair was so I mean, he was bald in the back, completely bald, and it started a few months after I got him. Like, his hair just, over time, just started falling out, especially in the back. He still had his hair kind of looked like this, but a lot thinner. He still had his little bangs, and all that kind of stuff. It just, I don't know. It wasn't the best rooting, but he was, I think, one of her first 10 to 15 dolls. So he definitely doesn't look anything like her current work. And I'm actually very, very happy about that. I prefer the look he has. He's also very pale because he's a goth. But yeah. For a first-time Reborn doll artist, this is pretty phenomenal. And this is rare for first-time Reborn doll artists. This look, excluding the hair, very, very rare. It's not common to find a Reborn doll artist who can paint, like I said, I can't show you all the details, but who can paint this well and 5 years later still look the same exact way it did when you got it. And he got played with a lot. I'm not saying like he sat on a shelf for 5 years and that's why he looks so good. I carried him around. He got held a lot. He got changed a lot. So, clothing wise. So the first thing you want to do is find a Reborn doll artist, a good Reborn doll artist. That is the number one thing, and you don't want to jump right in and go with the first one you find and the cheapest one you find. Definitely not the way you want to go. You want to go with a Target brand Reborn doll artist. So I would say $200 to $450. Make sure you have that money. Make sure you're willing to wait. So I guess the thing you need to learn is not instant gratification. You want to learn patience because this whole process is patience. And so many people these days do not have that. I certainly didn't. I jumped right in. First off, I didn't find, I looked up realistic looking doll on Google, found Reborn Dolls, typed in Reborn Dolls in Facebook, found this one artist, stuck with her, then found YouTube, found other artists, blah, blah, blah. So I didn't know not to do this. I didn't have someone saying, hey, don't do this. I'm also not a patient person. I was going through a really hard time at the time. I needed a doll. I have 2 of them in the garage. They're 1/4, they're 1/4 limbed dolls from Target, actually. And they're weighted. Their butts are weighted, I think. But yeah, I wanted them down because I wanted a baby to hold for whatever reason. I was having maternal instincts, so I looked up realistic looking dolls and found them. I would definitely look on YouTube first. I think eBay would be the last place I would look. And then, but there are some good dolls on eBay as well. It's just a very oversaturated market, and China is involved, and you should not buy from China. I know it's cheap, and I know that these dolls don't come from China normally. The kits come from Germany or Paris, or, they come from all over the world. People who make the kits don't send their stuff to China. They send them to Germany for the most part, or Canada even. China picked up, I guess somehow got a hold of a kit or something like that, or kits, and started recreating them and reproducing them and or producing them and selling them on eBay. So you really got to watch where you're buying it from, because actual Reborn doll, oh my gosh, my brain. People who make the kits don't send the stuff to China. just saying. You're not getting it from the actual artist of the kit. You're getting it from China. And I don't know the chemicals. I don't know what's on those kits. I've never bought one from China. I'm never going to buy one from China. So you really got to watch out for that. So I would definitely use like YouTube first, and then figure out your price range. And I would hope it was above $200. You'll find a better artist that way. And any artist who, well, Jackie and Stephanie would laugh at you if you said, I only have $200 to spend on a doll, because they are high. They are like, they're kind of in the Macy's range. So Target is $200 to $450, which means Macy's is like $450 to $650, $700 even. And then Nordstrom's would be $700 to $850, $900, and then Dillard's would be $900 to plus. I mean, it could go up to $10,000, and then you're talking runway and all that kind of stuff. Why am I comparing Reborn Dolls and artistry to retail? Because I know retail. That's why. And you wouldn't, even if I compared like artistry in the Reborn community, like one artist to another artist, you'd have no idea what I was talking about unless you looked up the person. And I really don't know all that into the Reborn artistry history and all that kind of stuff. So, or who's good or who's bad now and who's great. I don't know those names or anything anymore because I haven't been a part of the Reborn community since March. So why am I talking about this? Because it's still a part of my life. I still have Reborn Dolls, and they will still be in my videos. So I figured talking to you guys about it might help a little bit. Might not freak you out later on. So anyways, there's that. And then, so find an artist. Find a good artist. Make sure, well, if it's a cheap artist, then yeah, they're gonna be like, yes, $200, definitely. If it's a Target type artist, they'll accept it. They won't, I don't know, they won't be like, they'll be a little bit more professional. Not as professional, but a little bit more professional than someone who's gonna jump on you for giving them $200. It's really just personality wise, if you like their work, all that kind of stuff. What price range you have, all that. So then you want to find the kit that you want. It can be a little bit easier said than done, because, well, first off, find an artist, then figure out if you want a boy or a girl, and that will probably change. Then you're going to go onto a website like Bountiful Baby. Bountiful Baby is one of the cheaper end sites, and if you're looking at $200 price range, you're not about to go buy a $109 kit, because then that person might charge you $300 for the work. So you're going to probably want to go to Bountiful Baby, maybe find a kit on there that you like. If you can't find any kits on there that you're really particularly fond of, the thing I love about Bountiful Baby, though, is you see the prototype, then you see the blank kit. I love the fact that you can see the blank kit, because then you know what you're getting. And you might love the look of the prototype, but the kit might look funny. It really depends on how you're going about this as well. It could change your whole perspective of the look you want, I guess. Now, another thing you need to know is most people who go into this want the look of the prototype doll. That is the #1 request I think most Reborn doll artists get, is I would like the doll to look like the prototype doll. I would say a huge amount of Reborn doll artists don't want to paint. 99.9% of the Reborn doll artists out there don't want to paint the prototype doll. And secondly, maybe can't paint or root the same way as that artist. So you are going to get something that looks different unless you go to the prototype artist, in which case you're paying a lot of money for that doll. And even they might not want to recreate their work. So you get a look that you want. So let's say you do love, I personally have a kit and I love the look of the prototype doll, right? And I want that doll to look like that. I want the kit to look like that doll. The only way to do that is go to a high-end artist like Jackie or Stephanie and have them get as close as they can to that look. Or find an artist that paints roughly the same way as the prototype. And maybe they can kind of make you something similar to it. So then so you find the artist that you like and you get along with them and you work out. I wouldn't really try and make friends with them at first, but I would definitely get a vibe off them. That's why I like YouTube so much. You can get a vibe off them. You can watch them paint if they do what are called whip videos or work in progress videos. Sometimes you can just like them as a person and then love their work because you like them as a person so much that their work reflects kind of how you feel about them, I guess. And sometimes you can like their work and not like them. But if you contain yourself and you make everything businessy more than personal, which can be a little bit difficult in this day and age, it usually works out pretty well. So I guess my first thing is find a Reborn doll artist. Don't ask for it to look like the prototype doll. Try and maybe make your own look. Maybe if you have a boyfriend or if there's a guy that you really like, which would be really creepy, but like an actor you really like, maybe try and figure out what you and that person, what that baby might look like, and then go off of that. That's kind of what I did with my first two, was I used my boyfriends as an example and then went off of that, what our kids would look like. So that's two. Find an artist, figure out what you want the doll, the finished product to look like. Do you want to have dark hair? Do you want to have brown hair? Do you want to have light hair, red hair? What color eyes does it have? You can really customize it. Do you want it to be a human? Do you want it to be something else? Because it can be something else too. It doesn't have to be a human. Most people go for the humans. Now, if you're looking for an alternative Reborn doll, that's a little bit more of a niche market. And, yeah. So, you do that. You find the artist, you figure out what you want your doll to look like. You contact the artist for pricing. You don't tell them what you're going to pay them. You say, what is your price range? And the reason why you're asking them what their price range is to find, or how they price things, is to find out what kind of artist they are. Now, I'm not saying every artist who says, okay, my artistry fee is $350 plus kit, body, eyes is a good artist. That is like the general setup a lot of the times. Now, someone who just throws a number at you and says, oh, $150, doesn't really know what they're doing. So I probably wouldn't go with that person who doesn't have like a platform to work off of. So if you really like them and you really like their work, what you can do, if they just throw a number out at you, you can say, okay, well, would you be willing to do it for like $150 artistry fee plus kit, body, eyes, or $60 artistry fee plus kit, body, eyes kind of thing? Because once the art, a lot of the thing that a lot of people don't realize when they first get into this is the kit body eyes, the money that goes into that. So when people put out artistry fee, you're paying for them to paint the kit, and then you're paying on top of that to buy the kit, the eyes, and the body, but they purchase it. So that money's out the window. Okay? That money's gone. So they've only made the artistry fee, which is why people charge artistry fees. Which it took me forever to learn. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I never did the math around it. I just kind of put a price on a doll and saw if it sold, and if it didn't, then I would lower or raise the price depending. So yeah. Then you have to really learn patience because you got to find out how long it takes them to paint the doll. So price. Well, actually, I'd ask them how long it takes them to paint the doll, then the price. And if they use Genesis heat set paints or if they use air dry paints, that can depending on the artist, can change the look of the doll. Some dry paint artists, air dry paint artists are phenomenal and they look fantastic. And then others, like what I went through, you get a Walmart doll. So, and also, do you want the doll rooted or not? Do you want a bald baby or do you want a baby with hair? Is also a good question for yourself. But yeah, finding the artist first, very important thing. That's going to take time. That's not going to be an overnight thing. Pricing, or I guess your time limit's really secondary. Then the pricing is third. And the reason why I say time limit is because some people can take 3 months to paint a doll. Some people take 2 weeks. Also ask how many layers they put on their dolls. Like, say, the last doll you painted, how many layers did you put on it? And then the doll before that, how many layers did you put on that one? Like, what's your average layer count? That, to me, is very important personally, because I feel every doll should have at least 70 layers on it, 70 to, like, 150. And, if you don't know Genesis heat set paints, you're thinking like acrylic paints, you're probably like, whoa, that's a lot of layers. But most of it is paint thinner. There are a lot of like translucent layers and stuff like that. So what we call washes. So it takes a lot of layers to paint one of these dolls. So if the person says less than 70 layers, I would say like a Walmart doll is like 5 to 10 layers. A Target doll is probably 10 to 30 layers or so, maybe 40. A higher end doll is probably 70 to 90 layers or so. I'm not saying like, I'm just saying quality wise. I think quality wise, the more paint that gets put on the doll, I can't say the better it looks. I mean, there's plenty of dolls out there that have 5 to 10 layers on them. They look fantastic. And then there's the majority of those dolls look like shit. And then there's people who know what they're doing, kind of thing, you know? So for me personally, I used to put 70 to probably 105 layers on my dolls. I've tried making it faster. Like when I first started, it took me 3 months to paint a doll. Of course, I wasn't doing customs. I was just selling them, like when they're finished. I didn't even, it was whatever. And then, as the time went on, I got a little bit faster and a little bit faster and a little bit faster. You know, it took me years to do it. I can get a doll done in 6 to 8 weeks, which is average. If someone says they can paint a doll for you in 4 days, that's a red flag. That's kind of excessive. Either they have zero time or they have too much time on their hands and they're obsessively painting, and they really are painting like 12 hours a day for 4 days, or they're not putting that many layers on the doll. So 6 to 8 weeks is average, so you have to be patient while they paint the doll. I would ask for a schedule, because you're going to want work in progress photos or videos or both. So I would say, hey, can you give me a schedule as to when you will be doing your whip photos for my doll? And then I would suggest once a week, and maybe pick a date or whatever. And I would say it's going to take a few weeks, So I would say I want like 5 whip photos once a week. That's not hard to do. Whip photos, it's cell phone. We're in an age where uploading photos is not hard at all, or sending photos to someone is not hard at all. You grab your cell phone, you click a couple photos in somewhat good lighting, hopefully, and you send them out. The reason why I want you to watch them paint, though, and not look at photos of their work is because watching them paint gives you more of an idea of how they paint and how they work, and how well they work, and how well they paint, and how much they paint. So for me, for example, my whip videos pretty much went on for, I would say I did maybe 3 to 7 whip videos of one doll, depending on how much I was really into that doll and when I started the whip videos. Some of them started with blank kits and went all the way till they were almost finished, which I think was like 5 videos. And then some of them started maybe after 5 to 10 layers and then went until they were almost finished. So there's only like 2 or 3 videos of that doll, depending. Sadly, I have the videos, I just don't have them on YouTube anymore, so you can't go watch them, which is really sad. But I'm not trying to sell myself here. I'm trying to educate you on how to get a fully painted Reborn doll. It's a process. You have to save the money if you don't already have it, if you don't already make that kind of money. I personally make the kind of money I'm willing to spend on the dolls. I'm willing to usually spend 1 paycheck, which is in that target range. And then I know that I have to wait because I've painted them before, so I know how long it takes, so I know I'm willing to be patient about it. But it's a process. I mean, I would hope it would take you at least a week to find an artist. Like, within 5 artists. I hope you look up at least 5 artists. Find them on YouTube. Look up their Instagram. Look up their Facebook. I mean, it's research. I want to say you're pretty much going to be stalking these people, but, well, you kind of are. I mean, you got to kind of stalk them to find out if you really like the person. But YouTube, I think, is going to give you the best view into what they're like as an artist, personally. If they don't have any videos of them doing art, maybe you can ask them. Say, hey, can you make me a whip video, please? Or make a whip video. I would like to see you work on a doll. And definitely ask them their time frames, how long it took them to make the last 3 dolls. How many dolls they work on at a time. I've run into that error a lot with some artists. Some artists just can't handle working on multiple dolls. And some artists, quite a few artists, have like ADD and ADHD. And so they start working on your doll, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my god, I need to work on this kit. And they bring that kit in next to your kit, and they get so focused on the new kit that they stop working on your kit for a little while. And then they go, oh my god, I need to work on this other kit. I mean, then all of a sudden by the end of it, there's 5 kits on the table, and they're trying to work on all of them. My limit is personally 2. If I go over 2 kits, I forget. Like, once I hit that 3rd kit, I've pushed aside the 1st kit. So I make sure I only work on 2 at a time. If not 1 individually by itself. And definitely, yeah, ask them how many kits are on their table currently would be a good question. stuff like that. Just try and get to know their artistry more than them for the most part. And hey bud. And then you can work your way up to buy your own kits and sending them to an artist and not having to pay that extra kit body eyes fee because you've already paid it. I would not suggest starting to paint them yourself right away just because it's already so saturated. The market is so saturated that there is more supply than there is demand. It is way easier to find a Reborn Doll artist than it is to find someone willing to buy a Reborn Doll, because everyone's an artist now as well. But we also like our, I like my look, but I also like a couple other people's looks as well. So, this is my puppy. This is my puppy! Hi, baby. This is my dog, Jack. He's not a Reborn Doll. He's definitely a 100% alive animal. Huh. What do you think about the dolls? I had a dog named Jezebel. And she loved the babies. She would curl up with them and cuddle with them. And it was so sweet. And oh, she was so cute. Not this one. This one wants to eat them. Huh. You think they're toys. Yeah, they're not. So I have to kind of keep him. He likes sleeping in, like, the bassinet or whatever, but he doesn't cuddle with them. Go outside. It's too cold, huh? This is super cold. Yeah. But yeah, it can be a little bit cheaper if you're willing to purchase the kit, the body, and the eyes, ship it to the artist. They'll charge an artistry fee. Don't step on the computer. And it can be mildly cheaper that way, but it's not much. It's like flying versus driving. It's almost the same price, might be a little bit cheaper. But yeah. So the most important part is the artist. And everything else sometimes will fall through, or I mean not fall through, but follow. And it's a process. It's definitely a process. So the last doll I want to show you is an alternative doll. She's actually a zombie. Her name is Pumpkin. She was born a week before. What are you throwing around? My socks. That's nice. My dog doing his acrobatics. So she's an alternative doll. She is a zombie. She's one of the first, I want to say the first 10 dolls I made. I used to know exactly who was made and when, but after a certain time, I just stopped counting and stopped thinking about how many I had made. Get off the table. So this is Pumpkin. She's my little zombie girl. This is probably everybody's favorite part on her is her head. And so many people, she also has her own personality and everything like that, because they can be really fun to role play with. Not just like changing videos or feeding videos or anything like that, but like when you give them a personality, it can become a lot of fun. And she made some pretty funny videos back in the day. My favorite was playing Monopoly with Daddy. And it's basically her playing Monopoly with my boyfriend. And there's no script involved whatsoever. And to me, it was the funniest video because there was no script. And she pretty much told him that he only got $5 and she got all the rest of the money. And she got to buy all the spaces and oh my god, I was cracking up during that video. You can actually hear and see me laughing because she's kind of jolting around a little bit. It was really funny. My boyfriend actually got really pissed off. He still is to this day. Every time that gets brought up, he gets so mad. And he always says, Pumpkin is such a little brat. Yeah, you don't know about that. You weren't alive. Jezzy actually was a part of that video too. Maybe one day I'll re-upload some Pumpkin videos so some of you can see them. But yeah, they're a lot of fun. So anyways, thanks for watching, you guys, and I hope this video was a little helpful, maybe a little informational. If it wasn't helpful and it was boring, oh well. I made it because I wanted to put it out there, so thank you for watching, for those of you who do watch. Bye.